go over real quick, just for the commissioners. For our intent, we continue to talk about this, is we want a safe and secure township to enhance the experience we have living here with both our parks and trail system, and a guard against overdevelopment. So, for the current state, as you all know, when we took care of redoing our finances, we have no debt. Our pensions are at 93 as compared to almost 70% before assets to liabilities. We have almost $9 million in investments in T-bills that are recovering on, they're making around $31,000 a month for interest we have into that. And we mitigated our risks with the sewer system, which was very, very strong. We took a look at redoing the budgeting process. We have a 4-year plan as well. And a little bit on our township property, we have 338 acres. During a recent court decision, the judge had mentioned that, and a major issue was commingling of funds. So we're gonna need to take a look at that. So we had $3 million total of the bond proceeds. Of that, 1.7 of it actually was paid by general fund, and 1.4 was from the open space revenues that came in. So we're gonna need to identify which ground goes into what bucket. So right now, we do have building options out to bid. We looked at Gildersville, Cope Field, and Ball Field is going over at Evans as well as Evans itself as we go through the appellant process. And then going forward, just what's going to be happening in 2025. Right now, we'll have 3 seats up, as everybody knows, and also a tax collector position will be up this year. I just want to say that piece. We'll do public comments, and then we're going to move into other comments. Since I talked, does anybody else want to say anything?
Yeah, I have one question. Now that we put out for bid, I've never seen a final plan yet. I don't even know what we put out for bid. Does anybody have a final plan?
I would say nothing was officially put out to bid yet. The board did authorize it at the last meeting to put it out for bid, but I haven't seen a final bid package.
Well, are we to receive one before a final bid is put out?
I would think so.
And the public also? Thank you.
Anybody else before
Yeah.
we move into comments?
Yeah, Trace, just to compliment some of your stuff, again, I've harped on this before about misinformation, disinformation, and, you know, people do get upset about some subjects, but they're basing it on information that's just not correct, and, you know, it's an uphill battle trying to inform the public, you know, trying to correct some of the things that are out in the public venue, and I'm just, you know, just have to let it go. But there was some wrong information at the last commissioners meeting from this table. And I think we need to correct or at least clarify. As we discussed the municipal complex site suitability study, which Kathy and Dave spearheaded for us, that it was said that the results of that was not put out to the public. And I was like, I know they were, but I didn't kind of say anything yesterday, but making sure it wasn't something, you know, secret in here. On September 18th, 2023, a letter was sent to all the commissioners, and, you know, it was municipal complex studies. I'll just read the first line. This letter shall serve as a summary to the municipal complex site suitability study dated June 16th. Now, the data for that was not put out. But I want the public to understand, this was out. I know I emailed it to some of our people. I know that we put it on the Upper Pottsgrove Journal. It's on there now, if you need to take a look at it. I brought some copies with me if anybody wants a copy. But this is public information. This is what the public paid for. And it goes into 2 things. It describes 2 properties, Heather Place and the Evans Tract Place. And if you read it, it just tells you the pros and cons of each. And that's how we based our decision that Heather Place was not the best site. And I just want, and if I watched that tape 3 times, when that discussion happens, and I just wanna make sure the public gets the right information. Again, we only can make, our decisions are only as good as the information we get. And again, I just wanna make sure the public knows that, and so.
I believe the information that everybody wanted to see was the information that, of the report that Dave and I had done, because you guys asked us to do this site study. I don't know where the letter from why the letter from Al Griger was put out there, why he even wrote it. I know I had questions, and I sent them to Mr. Griger, and he was all for meeting with me and talking things over, until a few days later, he emailed me and said, "I'm sorry, but the township informed me that he cannot talk to me alone." I have the email, so you can't dispute it. Okay? So I understand some of the properties on our initial site study were privately owned, as at the time 2290 Gilbertsville Road. We didn't want to put that out, but I am here to say, being with Mr. Griger on the day that we visited several properties, that was not he had no problems with Heather Place. At that time and we had a matrix done, he did a matrix, it was a pretty good study to start with, and maybe they came out a little even. I think Heather Place came out a little bit better, okay? I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea where this letter came from, Mr. Griger. I don't know why he wrote it, but I never saw it until it was on our website. So that's what I'm saying. People were asking about the site study that we generated when we were asked to do the site study.
Well, just for clarification, we never did approve that committee we set up.
No, we didn't, but you
No, we
approved
didn't.
us,
Just a
you
second,
approved,
just
you
a
told
second,
us to
just a
go
second,
out.
Just a second. The summation of that report was done by Al, and he put it all here, which is the critical piece, and he does a recommendation at the end. Just for the process piece, that was a working document, and we do not show what we're taking a look at, that it's private property.
I would just, again, my point was, if the public is welcome to this information, we have shared it. We don't, we have to document everything for future commissioners. Again, the Farmington Avenue thing was, who knows why we did that? At least why we didn't choose or why we chose a property, at least there's documentation for it to push forward. Now, your site, that study that you said they couldn't get, I don't know why they couldn't get the stuff that we already own. I mean, it tells you all about it. Is this all redacted, or
Is that,
that's just the study that you did?
no, but we could have redacted what we didn't want out there.
Right, but
And what would have been left would have been, at that point, would have been Heather Place and Small Farm.
right, and that's basically, we had to weigh on Heather Place, and that
Why
is,
couldn't you just release that?
I don't know. I mean, this
Well,
says Heather,
so,
what-
I don't know why you're calling it misinformation.
no, the information here was transferred,
Can I see that real quick? I'm sorry.
the information here was transferred to this letter in summary so people could understand it.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
And I just, like I said, I don't wanna be accused of not putting out information that the public paid for. And I don't know why, this is a moot point at this point.
Well, it's not, in that all the properties on that list could potentially still be considered. So what we redacted
No.
was the identification of any properties that you did not own.
Oh, so you didn't redact the
Heather
Heather
Place
Place
or
and-
Small. And
Okay,
now,
well,
I
that's
guess,
fine.
if Gilbertsville Road is on that, we could now release it with Gilbertsville Road information on it if
Well, that's
someone
fine,
wanted
well,
to
then
know.
we can.
Right,
Um,
but that, there's a which I went through before initially, which is you just don't put it out there, cause if you identify properties, people start buying them and then you'll never get them.
Sure,
So-
again, my point is, and I'll wrap here, we can only make decisions our decisions are only as good as the information we have. I have, there's some copies here, anybody wants them after the meeting, you're welcome to take them. They're on the upper Pottsgrove Journal if you wanna see it, so, thank you.
Any other commissioners? Before I move to public comments? All right, public comments. If you